Hello. In this video, I'd like to give you a quick tour of the block editor and the blocks that we are using now to edit your posts and pages. Now, a lot of people revert to the classic editor, installing a classic editor plugin to use the editor that you used to use before the Gutenberg editor was included in WordPress. But I think you should learn how to manage yourself with it, how to create your pages with the block editor, because it is something that's becoming more and more ingrained in WordPress, and they're even going to do full site editing with it now, not just the whole page editing. So great things are coming with the block editor, and I think that's important that you know how to use it. So the first thing is, if you just installed your WordPress site, you will see that when you add a new post, you get some sort of guide here for the post, the how to use the blocks. And you might have dismissed that first, but then maybe you want to see it again. So I've found it, and it's here. You click here on the right, and you click on the welcome guide. And if you click on that, you can see that same intro to the block editor and follow the the steps to get to know everything. So that's important. You can follow those and get an idea of how to use the block editor. Now we've created the new post here, and let's write a title. Okay, and it guides you here, telling you you can either start writing immediately or choose a block. You can choose a block here. It gives you the most common ones. We could use a heading right now, and then afterwards a paragraph. But you can also choose all to see all of the blocks here with this clicking here. You can see that there are text blocks, media blocks, design blocks, widgets, and embeds. There are also reusable blocks. Well, we'll talk about that a little later on. But let's start with this one. Let's start with a heading. And then add a paragraph. I've got my lorem ipsum here where I've got some text. You can go to this site if you need dummy text for your site. And then we paste it here. And we can paste another one. Okay, so maybe we want to add an image now. So we can go here and find images. For me, it's a bit difficult sometimes to find that little plus sign in here. I have to hover a lot of the time, or hover around to see if it shows. And sometimes I'll just go to the end of a paragraph and hit enter to create another block, and then it will show that. I don't know if everybody has the same problem, but it happens to me. So maybe that's a good tip for you, to just get to the bottom of the last paragraph you wrote or the heading, and then click to add a new block that way, because it drives me crazy that I can't find this sometimes just by hovering. Now you can see that I'm seeing them, but before I couldn't find them. So let's add an image from my media library, and on the right side you can see here that it's chosen block. That means that it's the settings for the specific block here. And the image, we can change the image like this, or we can make it smaller with percentages, or you can just basically use the sizes that WordPress gives you, where our thumbnail, medium, large, or the original size of the image. These are taken from the images that WordPress generates. When you upload an image, WordPress generates those three sizes: the thumbnail, the medium, and the large, for you to use. but you can also edit them here with these percentages. All right. Now let's see what other blocks we can play with. Let's add a list. Okay, and let's see what else we can do. You can either also add things like columns to divide, uh, to sort of give a better layout to your content. Let's use 3 columns here. And here you could add more images and text. There we go. Now, I urge you to test these out, test out the different types of blocks, because you'll find new and different things that you can use to make your page more attractive. Here we go. Here we have some buttons, and you can group things. Let's say you want to group this image with this list, and you can just click. I did shift click to select them, and then you can group them, and it'll be one unit that you can use, that you can copy and paste, and you can use add that as a reusable block as well. That's what I was mentioning before. Sometimes you have pieces of text that you want to repeat, and you can create reusable blocks with that. So let's add, this will be my reusable. And you click here, and you can click right there, add to reusable blocks, and it will prompt you to name it. It will ask you to name it something. Number 1, and we save it. Now the important thing is you can edit these. You can edit them and change the text, but if you use them in other pages, if you make changes in one reusable block, all of the other reusable blocks will be changed. Now that's great because you only have to make a change once, and everywhere else you'll get your changed block. But that's bad if you wanted to keep one block uh, in one way and another block in a different way. What you could do then is, if you add a new page, let's save this, let's publish. Say you wanted to add a reusable block here. Let's see. You search for reusable. There's my reusable block. And what you can do is, if you don't want to, if you want to change this one, what you can do is convert it to a regular block, and then it will have your original text, and you can edit it without affecting the other reusable blocks. So let's see what else we've got here. One of the ones that I use, apart from paragraph heading and images, the one I've been using a lot have been the embeds for YouTube. That's pretty fun. You just give it the address of the YouTube, the video that you want, and it embeds the video here. That's pretty fun. You can also add social icons. You will have to test these to see how they look. These widgets are basically similar to the widgets that you put on the sidebars. So you would have categories, latest posts, latest comments, things like that, that you normally put on a sidebar, but you will have it on your text. A few things, this one, I like the spacer one because sometimes you just want more space in it, and if you add a space here, if I save this document, it will not keep that space. It will sort of delete it because there's no block there. So if you want to add a space there, you can use that spacer, and you just have to add, there's a way to add height to it. I think you can add the height to it that you want, maybe just a little bit, and then you have it. But you'd have to remember that it's there for it to for you to know. Another useful one is a separator, which basically it's a sort of a line. If you know HTML, it's what an HR is. And it will add a fancy separator there. Let's see what options we have here on the block. At the block level, we have a wide line. We can change the color. You see here. We have dots. Let's update and see if they show. They're not showing here. Let's see if they show in the preview. No, they're not showing. That's not cool. Okay, so apart from that, let me show you that you can control several things here at the block level. For the heading, you have some sizes that you can change, and you can have the colors change as well. For the paragraphs, you also have typography and color settings. Let's see for images what sort of, I think we already saw that we have different capabilities. And each block will have different capabilities that you can can change with the block at the block level. And at the document level is different. But we're talking about the blocks. So with here you can set different sizes and different colors. And it depends on the type of block that if you're using a fancy block, there might be other interesting things that you might be able to do with them. Okay, and let's see what else we've got. There are a few more interesting ones, like you can create a gallery. Let's use from our media library and choose these three. And let's insert the gallery. And there you go. It's a very simple gallery, but it works nicely. So you can use that to have a really nice and interesting page. Now, here you can see that you have blocks, patterns, which we haven't talked about, and the reusable blocks that you created, the one that we created before. It's right here. And these are the general blocks. I wanted to talk about a couple of blocks more before I went into patterns. The page break. The page break is basically when you have really long posts. Let's say you have a really big post, 3,000 words or more, that you've written, and you want to separate it, paginate it. It'll separate it in pages when it's displayed. So you can use that page page break to change that, to add that. Let's copy these two. And let's add one of those page breaks. Okay. Let's refresh here and see this. And here down here you can see pages 1 and pages 2. This will continue on the second page. The other one I wanted to show you, although this one doesn't Or depending on the theme, it won't work. Some themes allow it, but some don't. What's the read more button, which is basically where you want to, let's say you don't want to uh, have a read more on the front of the page. When the post summary shows, you see this read more here. You can, let's say you wanted uh, to show another paragraph, you'd add that read more in there. Let's say if I wanted to add it here on front of this. Well, let me. But it doesn't work on all of the themes. I've noticed that in some themes it will work, and some themes it won't. So you can add that read more. That read more block there to use that. And the last thing I wanted to show you was this media and text block. That is really nice if you want to have your an image next to a text. Oh, it's not letting me do it. Media and text. So here you go, and you can have on this side the text, and on this side the media area. Now you can switch that by clicking here or clicking back. Now on the patterns, block patterns, we'll see that there are a few that already have that capability. Let's copy some of here. Add the content here. There we go. Let's check out, let's update this page, and let's check out the patterns. Here we go. Now this is really nice because we have several things that are already put together for us, and you can see here a heading and 2 columns, and some images with 2 different columns. This is a 3-column layout with buttons and text and different images, which is, it just gives you nice little presentable things that you can add to your page. Let's look at this quote. It looks nice. Let's add this heading. This could go on the top of our page. Let's move it like this. We can have it on top and use it as a heading. Let's see how that looks. There we go. So basically, as always, as a beginner with WordPress, or as someone who's new to the WordPress block editor, you should take some time to just play around with these to see what you can do, because you're not always going to have the classic editor to fall back on. And you might say, well, I want to use the classic editor. How can I do that? Well, that's pretty easy. There's a plugin. If you go to plugins, add new, right here in the first place, it's the classic editor, and you can install it and use it. But as I said, it's better that you learn how to use Gutenberg and get the most out of it, because most themes are already working with it, and that will be to your benefit to do that.